Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I guess I'm speaking English there. Let's speak up. Okay. Itam sanischitya pitamaho maham.
Itam sanichitam pitamaho maham.
Agadabado bhavata pada padmam.
Agadabado bhavata pada padmam.
Dhruvam papedehi akuto bhayanjana.
Dhruvam prapedehi akuto bhayanjana.
Vita swapakshat shapasnaya satama.
Vita svapaksha shapanasya satama.
We do it fine.
Itam sanichitya pitamaho maham. Agadavodo bhavata pada padmam. Dhruvam prapedehi akuto bhayanjana. Vita sapaksha shapanasya satama. Itam sanichitya pitamaho maham. Agadavodo bhavata pada padmam. Dhruvam prapedehi akuto bhayanjana. Vita svapaksha shapanasya satama. Itam sanichitya pitamaho maham. Agadavodo bhavata pada padmam. Dhruvam prapedehi akuto bhayanjana. Vita sapaksha shapanasya satama. Itam sanichitya pitamaho maham. Agadavodo bhavata pada padmam. Dhruvam prapedehi akuto bhayanjana. Vita svapaksha shapanasya satama. Itam,
because of this, as stated above, Saha, he, Prahlad Maharaj, Nishchitya, definitely deciding on this point. Pitamaha, my grandfather, Mahan, the great devotee, Agada Bodhaha, my grandfather, who received unlimited knowledge because of his devotional service. Bhavataha, of your lordship, Pada Padmam, the lotus feet,
Akutaha.
bayam. Akutaha bayam.
Akutaha.
Completely free of fear. Jana
Jana.
from ordinary common people. Vitaha
Vitaha.
being afraid.
Being afraid.
Swapakshakshapanasya
Swapakshakshapanasya.
of your lordship, who kills the demon on our own side. Sattamaha,
Satamaha.
O best of the best.
Best.
Translation. My grandfather, the best of all men, who achieved unlimited knowledge and was worshipable for everyone, was afraid of the common man in this world. Being thus convinced of the substantiality afforded by shelter at your lotus feet, he took shelter of your lotus feet against the will of his father and demoniac friends who were killed by your own self. Actually, we're going to read the next verse as well because there's no purport. Just ahead. Atahamapi atmarikastava nitkam raivena nita prasabham tyajita shrihi itam fritam tam ita bhati jivitam yayadruvam sarva matirna buddhyate. Translation. Only by providence have I been forcibly brought under your lotus feet and deprived of all my opulence. Because of the illusion created by temporary opulence, people in general who live under material conditions, facing accidental death at every moment, do not understand that this life is temporary. Only by providence have I been saved from that condition. Quote by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Bali Maharaj appreciated the actions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although all the members of the demoniac families except Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj considered Vishnu the eternal traditional enemy. As described by Bali Maharaj, Lord Vishnu was actually not the enemy of the family, but the best friend of the family. The principle of this friendship has already been stated. Yasyam anugranami harishyetat sanai. The Lord bestows special favor upon His devotees by taking away all his material opulences. Bali Maharaj appreciated this behavior by the Lord. Therefore, he said, Daivena nitaha prasabham tyajita shrihi. It is to bring me to the right platform of eternal life that you have put me into these circumstances. Actually, everyone should fear the so-called society, friendship, and love for which he worked so hard all day and night. As indicated by Bali Maharaj by the words Janat Bitaha, every devotee in Krishna consciousness should always be afraid of the common man engaged in pursuing material prosperity. Such a person is described as pramata, a madman chasing the will of the wisp. Such men do not know that after a hard struggle for life, one must change his body, with no certainty of what kind of body he will receive next. Those who are completely established in Krishna conscious philosophy and who therefore understand the aim of life will never take to the activity of the materialistic dog race. But if a sincere devotee somehow does fall down, the Lord corrects him and saves him from gliding down to the darkest region of hellish life. Adamda gobir vishatam tamishram punaha punas charvita charvananam. The materialistic way of life is nothing but the repeated chewing of that which has already been chewed. Although there is no profit in such a life, people are enamored of it because of uncontrolled senses. Nunam pramataha kurute vikarma. Because of uncontrolled senses, people fully engage in sinful activities by which they get a body full of suffering. Bali Maharaj appreciated how the Lord had saved him from such a bewildered life of ignorance. He therefore said that his intelligence had been stunned. Stabda matirna buddhyate. He could not understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead favors his devotees by forcibly stopping their materialistic activities. Om Ganati Minandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Vishnu Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Dharamayam Dadati Swapalam Bhukam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Adana Raghunatam Vitantam Sajivam Sajivam Sadhutam Sadhujana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Shakhamritam Shra Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindarameshwari Rishabham Sute Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashwatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Purnasya Bhakti Ramyataha. Come back to the translation of the two verses. My grandfather, the best of all men, who achieved unlimited knowledge and was worshipable for everyone, was afraid of the common man in this world. Being fully convinced of the substantiality afforded by shelter of your lotus feet, he took shelter of your lotus feet, against the will of his father and demoniac friends, who were killed by your own self. Only by providence have I been forcibly brought under your lotus feet and deprived of all my opulence. Because of the illusion created by temporary opulence, people in general who live under material conditions, facing accidental death at every moment, do not understand that this life is temporary. Only by providence have I been saved from that condition. So here, Bali Maharaj is first of all talking about his grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, who, as you know, was the son of a so-called master of the universe, Hiranyakashipu, who managed to conquer everything in this universe, but Vishnu. So basically, he had everything at his disposal. He could enjoy everything, and he has basically unlimited material sense gratification available. So this Prahlad Maharaj, who had all this around him, he was very suspicious. He was very anxious not to go into that kind of sense gratification, because he knew what was the result of this. Not only was he educated while in the womb of his mother by Narada Muni, but also he could directly see the result of all those bad actions. He was surrounded by demons, after all. But most especially by his father, who committed so many sinful activities, you see that at the end he was eventually killed by Lord Nishingadev, which is also a mercy, but that's not the purpose, right, of this verse. He was afraid, actually, of all those men, common men, which are like demons also nowadays in Kali Yuga, uh, who are fully convinced of that this is it, this is the life, I am this body, and everything that I have to do in this material world is just to enjoy to the greatest. That's one of the 5 illusions that are covering us. To think there is no God, to think that I'm not eternal, there is no soul. Andatamisra, tamas. Then the fact that after this world's end, there's nothing else left. And so after all those conclusions, everything that is left, this Mahamoha, is okay. So I should just take the best advantage of this life. I only live once, so better do whatever I can just to maximize my sense gratification. But that's not the case. You just end up suffering more and more. That's true that we have all those 8,004,000 species of life for different types of sense gratification. Krishna has created all those different living species of life for one to enjoy according to his desire and also to his karma. For instance, let's say I'm a bird, I want to swim, I cannot do it because my body doesn't allow me this kind of sense gratification. So if I really have this desire, next life I'll have to take bird again as a fish, There are several factors that conditions what my next life is going to be. One is desire. Krishna always reciprocates with the desire of the living entity, but it does not always turn out as we want it to be. Oh, I wish I could fly. And next thing you know, you're a mosquito. And okay, you sure you can fly, but then you get just splattered onto under a slipper or something like that. So desire, the quality of desire. Krishna reciprocates to this desire, but there is also karmic reaction. You cannot simply wish to live in a big house, to eat opulent food and so on. If you don't have the karma to do it, again, you can just be born as a fly in a big house, eating very nice food, but you don't have all the facilities that you were thinking you would have. And there is also, of course, the state of mind in which you are at the end of life. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in which state of mind you are at the end of your life, this state you will reach at the end, next life. So, if while dying I'm thinking of my dog, my dear dog, who's gonna feed him? Well, you'll turn up to be a dog next life, eventually. But Krishna has the last word. He can do everything he wants. So even if you weren't really thinking of him, but you spend all your life serving him, he can just decide, okay, this one I want to take him back home, back to God. I like him. So there are all those different um, types of sense gratification, which are allowed by different species of life, those 8,400,000. And mostly you're just acting on instinct, you know. The dog is not thinking, oh, I want to pray, I want to do this and that. Of course, there are some exceptions depending on who you were on your previous life. Like you can see when Maharaj was turned into a deer, but he could still remember. Or if you read that book of Janananda Maharaj with animals in Krishna consciousness, you can see that sometimes animals can also do devotional service. But that's generally not the case. You act on instinct. But we in this human form of life have 400,000 form of life, human life. We have the choice of what we can do in this life. And demoniac body, being a demon, is also part of one of those 400,000 species of life. So ultimately you have the choice. Will I surrender my life to Krishna, or will I just completely enjoy my senses? So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said it doesn't matter in which caste you're from, what is your origin of life, whether you're a man, a woman, a brahmana, whatever, you can all just surrender to Krishna, practice Krishna consciousness. So that was the case for Prahlad Maharaj. He was born in a demoniac family. His father was the best of the best demons, but still he chose to surrender to Krishna. And so did Bali Maharaj, his grandson. He says by providence in this verse, but you know that providence is not really a thing. There's no random or just chance. Also, we might use this word, oh, by chance I did that, or by providence I met you, it was destiny, and so on. But that's not the case. Everything has a reason to be, and motivated by several factors, as I said. So Bali Maharaj, being in that glorious family of demons, but liberated by Prahlad Maharaj, since he offered prayer to Lord Nishingadev. Nishingadev told him, like, okay, you have liberated all 10 generations before you, or all 10 generations after you. So Bali Maharaj was ultimately a devotee, but he was playing this role for the pastimes of Sri Vamana Dev. So he ended up giving up everything in this universe, and last thing left for him was himself. Krishna possesses everything. Everything belongs to him. The only thing that doesn't belong to him is our love, is our devotion. Because he gave us our free will. If we didn't have any free will, there wouldn't be any love. And you cannot just force someone, hey, you, love me. You cannot say that, right? It's not going to be love. So ultimately, free will is really part of what love means. If you don't have any free will, you cannot really love. You have the choice who to love, but to really love someone, pure love, can only be achieved when your object of love is perfect. Because we are imperfect. So when we say to someone, oh, I love you, there's always something behind, there's always some tinge of lust. You know, oh, I love you because you're beautiful. I love you because you cook well. I love you because you sing nicely. Things like that. You know, ultimately for my sense gratification. But because I'm not perfect, and my object of love here in this material world is certainly not perfect as well. So the only way to achieve pure love, perfect love, is that one of the two objects of the love, Vishaya and Ashraya, is perfect. And the only perfect being in this whole creation is Lord Krishna. So if you love Krishna, so one of the component of your relationship is perfect, and he just levels it up so that your love becomes pure and perfect. So Bali Maharaj just decided to give himself up to Lord Vamanadev. Okay, I have nothing left, although my spiritual master warned me. Shukracharya was, don't give him anything, he will trick you. You can recognize him. It's Lord Vishnu, it's Narayan, it's our enemy. It's funny how they say in the previous verses, or even in this purport, Srila Prabhupada said, Lord Vishnu is the traditional enemy of the demoniac families. Traditional enemy. By default, he comes as enemy. But Bali Maharaj didn't care. He was true of his word. And he decided to give himself up to Lord Vamanadev. He even said that actually Krishna is the best friend of their family. He's not their enemy, he's their best friend. Because he's the one who allows them to achieve liberation, to achieve the ultimate goal of life. You constantly think of him, even as an enemy like Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna. Not in a very positive way, but still he was constantly meditating on Krishna in fear. So thus he didn't attain the final destination, Goloka Dham, but still he was thinking of Krishna. Our Acharya says it's better to think of Krishna in positive way, but it's still thinking of Krishna, Worst case is indifference, that, Krishna, I don't care, you can see that in a relationship, even if you're with your partner, sometimes you just argue, it just entertains the relationship, but worst thing is, okay, I just don't talk to you, I don't care, I'm just indifferent, and indifference is worse than hatred. So the demons actually, they're better situated than atheist people, although they are also demoniac, but atheists, they just reject the existence of God. But the demons, the asura, they accept there is God, there is Vishnu, he's all powerful and so on, but they don't accept his position as God. Okay, he's here, but I want to take his place. So still they think of Krishna, they have a relationship with Krishna, while the atheists, they don't have any relationship. So, you cannot go anywhere from that there. You can change hatred into love. But if someone just doesn't care, you won't go far with that. So, nowadays the society is like this, that everything should be secular. Don't talk about God. No. Keep it to yourself. We don't want that here. So the society is cultivating this kind of ungodliness, non-godliness.
Indifference.
Yeah, indifference. So that's why we're suffering again and again. because that is our constitutional position to serve the Lord, Sanatana Dharma. But we end up not knowing that there is God. So ultimately we're trying to serve because it is our nature to serve. But since we don't find this person that we're supposed to serve, we start serving our nation, we start serving our species. I'm doing this for humankind. We'll go to the moon because we're messing up our planet Earth, so we need to find something else, somewhere else to go. But yeah, that's all. We're trying to serve something, my family, my children, because we don't find this ultimate reservoir, this ultimate object of love that is fully capable of receiving our love unconditionally. So all those species of life we have, it's for sense gratification, as I was saying. And sense gratification, ultimately, in this material world, leads to suffering. Each action generates reaction. That's the principle of karma. So everyone knows that. But most of the time, and I'll say every time, when you accomplish an action, you get karma, and this karmic reaction binds you to this world. And this world is full of suffering. This world is dukkhalaya. We suffer. So every time every second we spend more in this world, we suffer. We don't see it, but it's happening little by little. Time is doing its effect, so you're growing old. You can be living, in a very nice house, eating very nice food, and so on, but time will catch up with you eventually. There are many things that disturbs you, weather, or economic situation, whatever. You will never be fully satisfied with what you're having here. I was reading last week in the Bhagavatam, the only thing that can satisfy the life, the living entity, is hearing sufficient Krishna Katha. And I like this word, sufficient. It's not just, oh, I hear Krishna Katha, I'm happy. And now rendezvous next year for Krishna Janmashtami. I did my part. No, I'm happy now. Maybe a couple of days. Yeah, it was a nice festival. We ate nice prasad. No. Okay. But no, Krishna says you should hear sufficient Krishna Katha, because when it enters your ears, it purifies your consciousness, and you have you get detached from all those bad qualities, those bad attachments you have, and ultimately you're purified. And this purification leads you to a platform where you can practice spirituality, devotional service, and you can go further, advance, purify more and more, serve the Lord better. Otherwise, like Prabhupada was saying in the purport, just trying to enjoy this world is just like tasting, chewing what has already been chewed. It's tasteless. If you take a sugar cane that has already been, pressed, and the juice has been extracted from it, just trying to suck on those basically just bark, fiber, yeah, fiber. Maybe you'll get a little bit of taste because it hasn't been properly squeezed, but it's not the real thing. No, the real thing is here in this this juice, this ras. And even if you chew a lot of those fibers, it will never be equal to having this full glass of juice, of nectar, that is devotional service, that is serving the Lord and His devotees. So materialistic way of life is like this. I try to find the best thing here that I can enjoy, but there is not so much thing. So I need to create myself some different kind of enjoyment and so on. What crazy thing we invent just to gratify our senses. We don't necessarily need them. Now I have just a comfortable chair that will just massage me now, massage my feet, that will be heated and connected to the television and so on. I have a little button, I can call my butler to bring me some coffee or whatever. And you create so many unnecessary things just to enjoy what you can in this material world. There's not much to enjoy, it's just a small fraction of what exists. It's only a quarter of this whole material creation. And you try to enjoy what has already been spoiled. Everything has already been enjoyed. You're trying to chew. And at the end, you will just be disgusted. And either you find something that has more taste, or you just go depressed. You become one of those people that have no more any goals in life. They're suffering, they're depressed. And that's good for our business as well. That's most of the part that joins the spirituality. Those four kind of people. Those who are suffering. Because we are in a world of suffering, so that's logic that most of the people are suffering here. It's like in water, most of the things there are wet. So we have to find a superior goal of life, and this goal is provided by Krishna himself. He gave us this opportunity in this human species of life to be able to serve him, to retrieve what we were originally, to uncover all those layers of illusion that we have accumulated during all those millions and millions of lives spending lives and lives in this material world, just enjoying, try to find him. Why do we want to enjoy so much? Because we're looking for Krishna, we're looking for real happiness, but we don't find it here really. So we're trying to look at everything, every little thing, try to enjoy of everything. It's nonsense. Better go to the source. If you want pure, crystal clear water, you go to the source. You don't go, in Paris to the Seine, which is already polluted. Nobody wants to dip in it because there's all those urban legend that you will get just sick just by touching it. Because all those factories, they pour all their chemicals in it and things like that. You will find many interesting things. Cars, bicycles. That's the good part. But yeah, if you want really the pure substance, you need to go to the source. If you want pure happiness, Krishna is the source of all happiness. That's one of his energy, Ladini Shakti, pleasure, potency. Okay, I think I went a little bit overboard. But I'll stop there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Rohininandan Prabhu ki
All glories to yes,